I don't do that. I don't make group members. That's why you don't see me as a sociable person, because I'm not here to socialize with niggas. I'm here to find out some mysteries. You get what I'm saying? If you're here to socialize and you need a group, you have made the wrong turn. You get what I'm saying? If you're here to find out the nature of self, then that's where I could be useful to you. You get what I'm saying? What I've seen is something I was talking about for the last 2 years in minute detail, but it's coming to a head now. All this niggas is Facebook social network to death now, and no one can't stand it anymore because at the end of the day, no one has moved anywhere. No one has moved anywhere or felt they have moved anywhere in their consciousness when they're listening to each other. But when they, what I start to find out, when they start listening to themselves, that's when they're making progress. And then they find this is something that they were saying to themselves since they was a kid. This is not about putting your feet in a pool that you cannot swim in. This is about understanding that the pool that you've already been swimming in. When you can go back into the archive shows and hear all the Q&A, and what you'll hear is, from me at least, not me telling someone, well, this is what you need to go do. You need to go see Satan, or you need to go see Osiris. What you'll hear me say is people will say, I see this thing with horns and it's red. And I'll say, well, it must be Satan. And then I'll say, go study it and see. Because this shit is about study of self. Study of self. Anything else I'll say is, well, when it happened to me, this is what I did, and this was the result. Because this dialogue and this language is me trying to tell you, I'm not responsible for you. And no one here is responsible for no goddamn black community. You get what I'm saying? That's a level. That's a level of thought. But this is not the level of thought that's been merged in under this one big umbrella that you're getting from me. What I'm giving you is occult knowledge. Occult knowledge. I'm not the Kabbalah guy. I'm not the Moor guy. I'm not the ballerina guy. Nothing is wrong with any of those things. If you're supposed to do those things, by all means, you're supposed to do it. You shouldn't have to recruit anybody. If they're supposed to do it, they're supposed to be doing it. But first and foremost, I'm not the magic guy. All magic is a means to an end, a methodology for using more of yourself to get what it is you want. It's not a fucking religion. It's not a religion. It's not me versus you. That's ridiculous. Remember, in the conscious, where this shit stemmed from, in the conscious community, the whole idea was you were supposed to be empowering yourself, and it was all information. How could you argue information? Take the information to become whatever it is you become. It's all our shit. There is nothing outside of us. It's all our shit. So you don't have to be one way or another. Be who it is you are. You get what I'm saying? You don't need a goddamn thing in the universe. I would be sad if my transformation was conducive to what a fucking Baba Lao had to tell me. That would be a sad fucking day. You get what I'm saying? A sad day. You get what I'm saying? This is about finding out who you are before you do anything. You get what I'm saying? So all I've been doing is showing people how to discover themselves. That's what the herb pack is, how to discover yourself. You get what I'm saying? Spiritual baths about how to cleanse yourself to become anew, to then start discovering yourself. So this is nothing good or bad. This is things and tools that seem to work, all for you to put yourself in a position. That's what readings are for. That's what Blue's doing the readings for, to put yourself in a position to know thyself, not know what this nigga said or what some nigga said in Africa 3,000 years ago. It may work for you, but you're here today under a whole bunch of circumstances that they weren't even dealing with then. If you came here today, you came to work with what's in front of you. You get what I'm saying? There's plenty of ancient tools left behind. Most of these ancient tools were left in writing form for us. You have access to it. There was a time you had to go to Lifetimes just to find out some mythology from China and some chakra shit over in India. You had to go through Lifetimes. Now you can access all of these things. and certain things are going to vibrate with you. You've got to go with what's in your heart. Anybody will tell you anything. Since one, and I dare anybody to find the show. Every show I ever done, and most of them on Miss Blue's show, is this is what you can do to help yourself. This is what you can do to help yourself. And I always say, and here's the book so you can read it for yourself. So, again, we must do what we must do, and what we must do is give you more books so you can read it for yourself. You get what I'm saying? You know, I do not want anybody to take my word for shit. That's such a drip to you. If I don't want you to guru me or think I'm talking better than this one or that one. You go with what's in your heart. I don't really like people. I don't want to call you on the weekend, or I don't want you to call me on the weekend. But I will be responsible enough to say, well, if I learn this, it's easy enough to share on a show or whatever. So I'll share it, and I hope you get something out of it. You may not. I get a lot of people now who are super duper petard conscious now, and so they just rather hang out on the corner with their homeboys. Now, okay, you know what I mean? That's all good. But see, with all these people with a rush of it, you knew the shit was a fad. You get what I'm saying? A fad. And some people are hardcore. I mean, it's all different types. So I'm not even in the position to judge who's special and who's not special. Right. Nor do I care. Be special to yourself. Be whatever it is you're going to be. You may just have come to earth to fucking enjoy ring dings and Twinkies. You know what I mean? I'm not going to judge. In the end, based upon Gnostic thought, we all going anyway. Or, quite simple, all you have to do is be black and die. You get what I'm saying? All you have to do is be back and die. So in the end, all of this stuff has to transform. The occult or the conscious are people who are active in their evolutionary chain. That's all it is. That's all it is. And it could be through whatever system. It's all ours. It's all ours. Advice to somebody, don't get stuck in one area. We know what being stuck in one area is called. We'll call it Christianity today. You get what I'm saying? So we also have to remember that's a part of our Holocaust, and we have this natural tendency to even fight against Christianity, but replace that with something else and just call it deep now. You get what I'm saying? So Egypt is nothing but the new Christianity, if you have that mentality. When you get to know thyself, it's not really about the information that you start to repeat because everybody else is repeating it. What it's really about is you starting to realize your personal issue, your personal thing that you're trying to deal with, not the dealings of the black community. You know what I'm saying? That's just that's too vast for you to do anything about. You could do that's social issues. You know what I mean? Well, we need some more money for colleges. No, you shouldn't be. If that's on your mind, go away now, because I am not talking about that. And of course, Facebook for the first time is MySpace at first, but MySpace wasn't as community as Facebook is. So now you get to see it all the time. Everybody's putting stuff on my wall. And I'm like, well, why are you I'm not even talking about that. Does it affect me? Yeah, as a human, but that's not what this study's about. I've said in the Gnostic shows, you're actually, to become truly conscious, because that word is just something you just use now. You might as well say Christian. But let's pretend. To become truly conscious, conscious means that you are no longer, or you are now awake from the standard everyday mind control. That's what conscious meant. The conscious community would say early on, I'm conscious and they're dead. The other people were dead. Well, what makes them dead? They're dead because they're in this endless emotional cycle of humanity. They're doing what everyone else does. So you're dead. Why are you dead? Because you're eating cheese doodles like everyone else. Why are you dead? Because when they say Gen 6, you have a template reaction. You react just like everyone else. When I'm conscious, we understand what Gen 6 is trying to do, something like that. When I'm conscious, you understand they're trying to do that to lead people like sheep. You ring a cowbell, then cows start to walk. So when they do that, you have these reactions, guess what? You're still dead. You can still be alarmed by certain things. You see a little girl gets beat up or an old lady gets beat up. It's alarming. It hurts. But you made a choice not to buy into the same emotional template as the dead, because you are now conscious, Ptah, and Mayat. So your energy now, you shifted your energy to these greater symbolic understandings, or the parts of yourself that are hidden, sleeping, that you're trying to raise up. So when I see something on a human level that's fucked up, makes me study more. Study more. Because that energy goes into the collective unconscious. Once you realize that Earth itself is your Holocaust, then you want to get out of your Holocaust. That's like what niggas are doing now is like being in jail, saying there's a lot of negative energy around me. You get what I'm saying? But you in jail. You should expect that. You get what I'm saying? The vibes in this place are all off. But you in jail. So the more you study, and like I said in detail before, you can find it in the Gnostic talk, what they're talking about is Earth itself is the prison. So it's fruitless trying to make a better prison for yourself. Now, you may argue with that. Some may disagree. But that is the understanding and the choice you make when you're in the occult. So if you disagree with that, then you're not even lined up with what the fuck I'm talking about. Because it's a choice I made, and a choice I think the occultist or someone who's truly in the study of self. I said it before, I say it again. If you all great and all Egyptian, everything they left on them walls was about getting the fuck out of here and not coming back. So I'm not just trying to look pretty because my nose looked like the nose on the fucking wall. What was they saying? They was talking about transformation, eternal life, and they had nothing to do with Earth. It's about getting off this motherfucker and never coming back. With that mentality in mind, when you read the occult information, you'll find there's just many, many books, different angles, same fucking story. How to get out. Either how you fell down this motherfucker and how to get out. So quite simply, I want to be clear. That's what I'm talking about. If you don't agree with it, wipe my ass. I don't care. I'm not trying to convince you. The ones who came across this and understand the concept, we're politicking. The ones who still are, I don't know because, the trees look so like, you're right, trees are very nice. But they ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about here. You can talk about that shit if you planning a picnic for me. You get what I'm saying? Where the nicest trees and shit are, we can go on a picnic all day. But that ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about. What I've been talking about through these shows, occult information. Occult information is for people who made a choice to kind of start leaving the human condition behind. Just to start leaving the human condition behind. And that's what it is. So if I never was clear on it, I hope I was motherfucking crystal clear tonight. It's not a comparison. You can't debate because you're not even debating with the same technology. You get what I'm saying? So therefore, there's no debate exists. If you say it's terrible that girls and kids are doing that, you're absolutely right. But what you really should be asking me is how much my energy goes into that. It doesn't, as I pointed out. And I'll do you one better. And as much energy as I decide to put in that, that's none of your motherfucking business. I deal with that with my parents and cousins, girlfriends. That's where I say, oh, goddamn, we need to stop and put a street light up. You get what I'm saying? But y'all shouldn't even be interested. Y'all shouldn't even be interested in that kind of shit from me. You get what I'm saying? Interested in that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, because the next thing out of niggas' mouth is, well, you just can't ignore it. And this. No. Ain't nobody talking about ignoring it. What we're talking about is transforming out of it. You get what I'm saying? When you're done with it, you're done with it. You have an old abusive boyfriend, and you finally got the balls to let him go. You're not ignoring it. You just You letting his ass go. You letting his ass go. So certain shit you would do. You don't put parsley on my plate no more, baby. No, it's not like she's ignoring it. She don't give a fuck no